Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Thursday, November 10th. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. This type of trading carries substantial risks and should only be attempted using risk capital, funds that you can afford to lose. All right. YM is in a long trade that's gone way too far for us to get involved with. So we'll wait for a new setup there. Soybeans has a get in sync short at 14.49.75. Good morning, Mr. Darcy, Miles. How are you both doing this morning? And good morning, Pamela. Yeah, doing fairly well this week. All right, market is open, and the YM is continuing on upward in that same trade, so nothing there to deal with yet. Soybeans did just come up and trigger in and just hit the entry again, so we're short on soybeans. Looking like it's wanting to come back up through the moving averages, but so far the moving averages are providing resistance. Looks like the 50 about to cross back below the 200. And there is our first trade on the YM, short at 418. You might want to wait on a test of the highs. So there is a possible stop and reverse if you're using the 20 SMA trade. That's a diamond level trade. That's at, I would say make that one at 48. And did not reverse, so we are still in the prior short from 418. So we're actually in the bigger trade there and just hit target one. So that's a one and done session, or will be when the trade completes. And trailing at 401 now. Target two hit. Soybeans tick away from target one, and there's target one on soybeans. That's money management. Stop would come to 49.50. 363 for the stop on the YM. I don't know if anybody was watching it pre-market open at 8:30, but big move on at least the ES and the YM. ES moving over 100 points, and the YM moving something like 800 points. Okay, YM stopping out on the trailer at 336. That completes our session there. Stop and reverse avoided. And soybeans down through targets 1, 2, and approaching target 3. getting within 1 tick of target 3. So I would probably bring my stop on the target 3 position to target 2. And it's at one tick again. I would probably, at that point, I would have marketed out of the target 3 position. I'm not going to risk giving all of that back. Trailing stop now, and there it goes through target 3 after all. Trailing stop at 46.75. So the YM is one and done. Soybeans will be one and done. We had a trade on the pound Aussie here just at 8:31.13, just a minute or so after our start time. But the first minute of the pound Aussie this morning was extremely active. I haven't seen that much activity in the pound Aussie in quite a while, along with the activity on the YM and ES. We pick up the long, plenty of time to get in that. It's not a big trade, but we take 3 positions at target 3. 14 ticks each, that's 52 ticks. And we also hit target 4 for another 18, gives us 70 ticks on the targets, 70 pips on targets. And we stop out at 77.24 from the entry at 77.22. So picking up 2 pips, 72 pips on the morning, and a nice trade. Then it got kind of noisy. Still pretty active after that trade. Comes down, you get a full stop out on the short, a second full stop out, target 1, small trailer, no trigger on the short. I would have split my position on this trade between 2 positions at target 4 and 2 positions trailing, or maybe 3 positions at target 4 and 2 trailing, because it's a small trade. Getting target 4 and actually still a small trailer, but it's almost a target 2. All right, the Russell. Strong move up before the open. There's the open. We're at session highs. Probably chance to get in that. That gets us target 3 and 4 and a small trailer. Then we come back the other way and you see a little wick here that likely plenty of time, likely into that trade. Another target 3 and 4 win. This time a little bit bigger trailer. 2 wins. And I'm afraid that one's going to be 23, 22. Ooh, yep, that one's going to be a full loss. So 2 wins and a loss. And 2 wins and 2 losses. Then we go back to the long side again. 5 minutes in. 1, 2, and a long 17-second bar there. That's likely where you get into that trade. And that, unfortunately, that target 1 looks like it was, that was smaller than minimum. That was only 9 ticks. Well, that one gets to the 14 ticks and does come back at 34.2 for a break even. So that's 5 trades. Short setup. 17.2, 3. Still just 3 seconds to target 1. Need a couple more ticks, and it goes. That one goes away too fast. That one was too fast to trade. Actually, would be a winner, but and we have a 5-second bar, and then pulls back. So that's a maybe tradable. It definitely is tradable. Didn't hit the stop. Comes back to the entry. And target 3 and a small trail for a 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 break even for our 6 trades this morning. All right, let's come back and take a look at crude. And good morning to Arizona Bob. Wow. Soybeans with a nice trailer here. Still trailing at 41.75. Okay, crude. Now I saw mention on the Trade Hacking Club from Clifton this morning that he got this trade at 22 seconds after. That one would have been a tough one to execute, as it's on my chart only 5 seconds for that first bar, and you're halfway to money management. So that, to me, that would have been a really tough one to enter. And if you were able to get your order in and get it to go, it was a very successful trade. Targets 1 and 2. Quickly getting off 39 ticks, but still, I question if it was tradable or not. Now, on the micro crude, it was definitely tradable. This was the trade right there. A few ticks lower, but it also did this back up and down, giving us plenty of time to get in it for this. And this one gave us 53 ticks. But that's the difference in the crude and micro crude. That one I would say is not tradable, so we get this SMA short at 99. Then we go to 86.11. So that would be 12, loss of 24. Then we come 86.11, back to 99, another 24, down 48. And this short trade, because of the stop and reverse adjustment, at 99, we come down to 89 for our money management, which is also target 1. So we get 10 and 18 ticks, 28 ticks when we lost 48. So a loss of 20 ticks. On the three trade sequence would be how I would have expected that to go. I actually was trading micro crude and was one and done. So we'll wait for 10 a.m. And unleaded has had a rough time of it this morning. So we don't get that initial short. Oh, we didn't get the initial short because we got a blue oversold reading on the second on the third bar of the exhaustion dots, and so that precluded any kind of a short trade there, unless it was a trade off of a moving average, and that we were well up above the moving averages. So our first trade was short at 58.16. That just misses money management, comes back up to an entry at 57.78. So that would go to 57.82. So 66 ticks. Wait a minute. 58.16. I'm sorry, 58.30. I was looking at the wrong thing. 58.31. So 58.36 would have been our. So 16 to 36, 20 tick loss, 40 ticks net. And we take a 107 tick loss. I'm sorry, no, 53 tick loss plus 5. So 58 ticks, 116, down 136 off of those two. And we get a long 57.97. That meanders around for a full stop for another 118 tick loss, 59 tick risk. So we're now down 254 ticks after 3 trades. No trades until we get to there. There's going to be that's a target 1. 44 tick target 1. Doesn't get to target 2. We get a trailer at 55.77 from the entry at 55.61. So another 16 ticks. So if you're trading target 2, it's just 32 ticks. So we're still down 222 on target 2. We're down, we can see, we picked up 44 and 61. 61 to 77. So we picked up 60 for target 1. So that leaves us 194. 4, 5, trade 5. We pick up another target 1, missing target 2. So target 1 was worth 26, 27 on the trail. So 167. And we just pick up 2, still down 220 on target 2. Then we have a nice solid short, picking both target 1 and target 2. So target 1 got 57. That puts us 110. Target 2 was 88. So that puts us down to 132. And we stop out at 654.61 from our entry at 55.79 for 118. So target one gets positive on the sixth trade by 8 ticks. Target two ended up, let's say 118, ended up 22 ticks. No, 132, 100 up 14 ticks negative. So not a positive session, but certainly not a significant loss. So essentially, target one and target two ended up pretty close to break even. About $75. It's about a $75 loss on the target two, and $30 gain on target one. So now we go to the micro NQ, and let's. That's moving around. I'm curious what this did at 8:30. Very active. Wow. Yep, it did the same thing. It was sitting at session lows. Set a session low at 5 seconds after 8:30, or on that bar. Yeah, somewhere between 8:30 and 5 seconds after. So probably right around 8:30. And that was at 10:08:09, and just boomed up. We're still in the first minute. Yeah, there's our first minute, and we're up 8:09 to 11:90, almost 300 points in a minute. We end up getting as high as 237, so we're up 400 and over 425 points at one point, and that's just in a minute and a half. Get a pullback and then go ahead, continue upward. As high as 11,317, 500 points, and continuing up. It's like we got close to 600. 394. And now there's our start time. So in that hour, we picked up almost 600 points in movement just after 9:30. So 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 exchange time. So our first trade after our 4-minute wait is long, definitely in with this wick here. Yep, most definitely in that trade, and that goes for a full loss. And reverses to short in that one with this wick as well. There is a target 2 win, so 1 win, 1 loss. Target 3, target 4, and trailing down to 290.50. 100 points off the highs. Pick up a new long at 299 even. Now, the question is, oh yeah, 9-second bar. We definitely are in that. Another win to target 2, and we're trailing again. Target 3, and we trailed out at 22.75 this time. One loss, 2 wins. Another long with the wick to get us in. So in this trade. There's target 2. So that's 3 wins to target 2. They all to target 3. Not quite. Well, actually, yeah, not quite making target 4, but setting a new session high at 98.75 and trailing out at 75.50. Yeah, that would definitely have been a good start at 9 o'clock, 9 or 9:30 or 9:30 Eastern. It's actually 8:30 or 8:34 exchange time, William, because that is traded out of Chicago. So, in deference to everybody in different time zones, I try to speak about exchange. We try to talk in exchange times, so that would be an 8:30, even though all of my charts are in Eastern. NinjaTrader doesn't give me the option of setting different times. But all of my timestamps are based off of a single time zone. And soybeans stopping out on the trailer at 1440.75 from the entry at 1449.75. 9 points at $50 a point. That's a nice trailer. All right, the short on the MNQ at 851.55. That's going to be loss number 2. That was plenty of time to get into that one, unfortunately. And then we come back for another long that barely survives the stop, but we definitely are in the trade. And that's where we are. That is trade number 6. 3 wins, 2 losses. That'll be the last trade of the session. Wild morning. Looks like the Russell and the MNQ are both at session highs. The Micro Russell and the MNQ both sitting at session highs. We're not too far from the session high. 33,455 on the YM. We're down at 340. So we're 110 points off of our session high, but not in terrible shape. But that big move in the first 2 or 3 minutes of pre-market trading was just amazing. I happened to have been looking at a 5-minute bar on the ES, and the bar literally was 110 points on the ES in the 1 5-minute bar. All right, MNQ closing in. There's target 2. That is our 4th winner, and that will be the last trade. Not trailing yet. Break even stop sitting at 1135, 395 even. And just about to come to our 10 a.m. crude session. Another 2 minutes or slightly less. And target 3 on the MNQ. And the short on crude is off the table because that's gone too far. We'll need a new setup for the 10 o'clock session. And this turning out to be another nice trade on the MNQ, up to pushing through session highs. Targets 2, 3, and 4 trailing at 426.75. Nice trading morning on the MNQ. Four wins, 2 losses. That's small losses and big wins. 432.50. And we're in our 10 a.m. session. We just stopped. There's a long trade. That trade at 38. Okay, it's triggered in. I was going to say, where were our moving averages? All right, crude hitting money management. 10 a.m. session. The MNQ did stop out. 441.50. Crude, and there's target 1 at 85.57. So this will be a one and done 10 a.m. session. 19 ticks to target 1. We'll look for target 2 at 30 ticks. So that will be at 68. At 85.44. That completes the 10 a.m. crude session, and that completes all of our charts. Questions or comments? Oh my goodness, I missed. I had a chart over top of these. Troy had done because this Renko plan is a much more of a scout type plan, and the testing he had done, TA testing that he had done with it, gave him very good results. The POQ on it is 3 losses or 4 wins. I think it's either 4 or 5 wins and 3 losses with a max of 6 trades. Sure. For actually, you're talking about, and it's, of course, the symbol for NinjaTrader is ZS. TNC crude session to me has been fairly solid. It's not quite as good, I don't think, as the opening session, but it's very close. Yes, correct. Three losses will end the session. But if you look at the trades that we got here, yes, I do trade 10 a.m. And I'm actually still in micro crude on the 10 a.m. session because it didn't quite get to target. It got target 1 on the short side. It basically looks like that. And it just stopped out. And now we'll try back long again because I'm not quite positive because of stopping and reversing to short. We'll see how it goes. But if you look, the risk on this trade, this is a typical trade on the 12 point bar. So you've got a risk of 39 points actually. Of course, I'm looking at the micro NQ, but you've got targets of your first actionable target is, no, I'm sorry, the risk is not 39. The risk is 15.5 points. But your first actionable target at target 2 is 28.5. So 28, 40.5, 52.5 for this trade. And we went through 3 targets, and between target 1 and target 2 trailer. So your risk reward ratio is considerably better than 1 to 1. It's very much a scalping strategy. Very low risk for very high reward. So we had 2 full losses that were, this one's 15.5 points twice. Let's go back and just kind of run through. I think what Troy was trading was, or what Troy had on the test was targets 2, 3, and 4. And actually what he traded, with the 12 point, I'd still stick with the trailer. So that was our first trade that was a loss. That was a full loss of 15.5. And we have another 15.5 risk on the short, but it gives us 28.5. 28.5 points on target 2. So we had 15.5. If you're trading 4 positions, that's what, 62 point risk. We've already got 28.5 back. We hit target 3 and 4. So target 3 is 48.5. We're at 69. We're at 69 points. So we're already positive after the second trade. Plus another 52.5 points. For 71, 121.50, and we get 343.75 to 290.50. So 53.25 points on the trailer. So we're 170 points on the second trade. So we're already up 110 points on this particular chart. And then we go same trade size because no wick again. So we get 28.5 to target 2. This one we get just 28.5 and 40.5, 69 points. And another 20-ish or so. 322.75 from 298.75, 24 points. So 89, 93 points on that one. We're like, what, 265 points? One, and the 62 points loss. So we're over 200 points positive now after 3 trades. The fourth trade gives us targets 2, 3, not quite 4. If you trade it just strictly by the trade plan. Oh, and I forgot to account for the 24. So we picked up another 24 for the target 4 trailing position that I didn't account for. And as the Kenny Rogers' song goes, or not Kenny Rogers, Charlie Daniels, I believe it was. The gambler broke even on micro crude, just hitting target 1 on trade number 3. So that gets me positive. Still have another position in play. It will definitely be positive on the day or on that session. So this one's going to get us 69 on targets. It's going to, where you got 2 positions coming off, 375.50 from 346.75. So 28 3/4 times 2 is 57.5 points there, on top of the 69. So now we're over, what? That's 116. No, 126. 126 and a half puts us roughly 325, 330 points positive on 4 trades. We take another 62 tick loss. That puts us at 270 points. And our final trade, well, what strategy are you? Your trade setups? Are they a scalp type? Or are they a typical spotlight or counterpunch type setups? I actually don't trade the MNQ, although I'm seriously starting to look at trying to do that rather than because of course doing the room and the YM as it is, a lot of times, and the MQ, same problem. When I'm doing the room, it's really hard to do some of the trades. But I think I'm going to do some testing on the MNQ and see what I can come up with. Okay, so if you're just using target 2 in a trail, that's fine. But you're risking 15 and a half. So you're risking 31 points to make 28 and a half to target. And, so actually, if you have a win and a loss in that situation, you're going to actually be slightly negative unless you get to the point where it's starting to trail. T2 and trail with two max losses. Okay, yeah, but then you're going for POQ1, and you got to look at that and go, okay, well, one win after a loss is, unless it gets to the trailer, is not going to get you positive, even on just 2 positions with just 2 positions. And the testing, I know the testing Troy did was with targets 2, 3, 4. But given that your risk is that low, and that's something you definitely have to look at. Just target 2 is not typically going to get you positive. Now, if you pick up target 3 or a good trailer, then you're going to get positive in all of them. And that's true not just if you're just trading target to target 2, but that's just the first actionable position. You might do some testing with target 3, because that's actually going to give you enough to get positive on the one, or with looking for multiple wins. Like today's session, we had 4 wins and 2 losses. Would have and did quite well on the trailers. Yeah, and that's something to look at. Try doing your testing with target 3 rather than target 2, and see if that does any better. I'm just looking at the fact that target 2 is, because it waits to 200% of target 1 before we start trailing. You're going to get a fair number of, target 2s, and then very, very small trailers. So those are really going to be break-even trades for you on that trade plan. So that's why I would suggest, if you're not using the multiple positions, go ahead and look at something like a target 3, or look at taking multiple trades, not just depending on a one and done, or a POQ1. Now, a POQ1, when you don't take a loss before it, is going to do very nicely. When you've got 28 points on a 28 and a half points for a target 2 on a 12 tick, or a 12 pip, or 12 point bar, 12 point brick size, that's definitely that's a pretty big risk on a single NQ. Look, the other possibility is look at maybe doing targets 2, 3 and trail, or something like that, on micro NQ, with, say, splitting 20 contracts across the three positions, rather than just 2 contracts on the full NQ. And the other side of it too is, I haven't looked at the full NQ. The testing Troy did was on the micro NQ. So you might look to see how that works differently. No, that's just some possibilities to look at and think about how you're trading that. But the way the MNQ moves, when it's winning well, it's hitting multiple targets very often. And I know on the 6-point bar, what Troy actually was doing, I think, was he was trading this fixed target he has at 39 points on the 6-point brick size. That's actually well up above target 4, and he actually just, if he hits that, he's done. And that's essentially his trailing position. Well, on because the testing the testing he did was on the 6-point bar. So we've just been looking at the 12-point, because the MNQ and the NQ tend to be so fast. Look at the 12-point with a 25% offset, rather than the 6-point with a 33% or 1/3 offset. Yeah, and that's the downside of trading on the, depending on the number of contracts, you can can trade, but you look at how fast it can make that back. That's a decent drawdown, yes, but if you got an account large enough to account for the risk that you're, because a 30-point risk on the full NQ or 31-point risk average tip, because that's a typical trade on that 12-point bar is a 31-point risk on two positions at $20 a point. That's a $600 risk. 600 and what? $620. Yeah, $620 risk. So you're looking at at least a $30,000 account. So even a two to maintain your 2% risk per trade, and if you look at that side of it, even three full stops is only 6%. You've got a 6% drawdown. That doesn't take much to get back. And as you saw looking at this example, trading all four targets or trading targets 2, 3, and 4 in trail, it's going to end up. Let's see, this one. The fourth, the last trade, which actually it was either the fourth trade or the fourth winner or the sixth trade, whichever. But it was a standard trade, didn't have any wicks, so you didn't have any large trades. But so even with this, we had two losses of 62 points, but we still ended up on the 6 trades up over 300 points. Let's see. So we were already up at what? We were at about 270 after that second loss. So the third one on this last trade on the MNQ gives us 69, 71.50, 121.50 plus another. So yeah, we're going to be over 400 points positive on the day. So that's the kind of day it can give you. I think that's one of the reasons that Troy was looking at multiple targets, because target 1 or the target 2 and trail may not get you much more than just and it doesn't quite get you to break even, because you're looking at 28.5 plus. So you'd have 3/4 of a point, 29.25 versus 31. So if you got just target 2 in the trailer and a break-even trail, which is typically one tick, you're looking at a 1 3/4 point loss. But if you get far enough to start trailing, you're really up very close to target 3 already. So it can be pretty huge. And that's the beauty of a scalp type trading play plan like this. You can take multiple losses and wait for those good trades, because the good trades far outweigh the losses. As we've got all 4 of the winning trades went to at least target 3. 2 of them went to target 4. And fairly significant trailers on all of them, at least over target 1, or actually close to target 2 on all the trailers, or better. Well, at max 6 trades, I don't remember I've got to go back and look at it. I don't remember if POQ, let me see if I can find that in my files. Okay, that's going to be catapult. I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see that. The 6-point bar handy here. I'll have to go back and look for that. See if I can't bring that back up Tuesday. That'll be a good one to take a look at. But I believe I'm not sure if it's 4 or 5 wins and 6 trades max, as I believe what it is. That one is on the other side, I'm pretty sure, but it may be in the not the VIP section, but in the TA section. Is it the trade plan basic that we're running on the 12 it's the same trade plan that was on the 6-point bar. Let's see. I know where it's going to be. I don't want to. But yeah, in a case like this, well, we didn't hit target 4 on this last one, or was that the last one? Okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3, second loss. Yeah, we did hit target 4 on that last one. So and we're almost to target, halfway to target 3 to target 4 for the trailer. So that was a 170 point, or very close to 170 point trade, and we're already we're 440, around 440 points on the day positive. So that's a huge day. Now, obviously, if you trade the micro to make it a little bit more granular, you don't trade quite as many contracts. You trade more contracts, but you split them up a little bit differently. Yeah, that's the whole point of looking at it that way. Is when you're looking at those extended targets, you're picking up those big pieces, big chunks as it goes along. Whereas, if you're going to be losing those big chunks, or you don't pick up all of those chunks, because you're just looking at each position. But as you go up the ladder, the risk reward ratio gets much better on those higher targets. yes, you'll get hurt. You'll get a little bit higher commission or trade costs. It's not just the commissions; it's the commissions and the exchange fees. But have you got an account that will let you basically you're looking for you're looking at a $60,000 account to trade four full MNQ or full NQ contracts. And you may be in a $60,000 or $100,000 account, and if you are, great. Yes, then you should be trading. You certainly should be looking at four contracts or so on the full NQ. But it's all a matter of what you're trading, what your risk tolerance is, and so forth. What's your trade plan? You have to start and with 100K, if you're trading at 2%, you're looking at taking what? Hey, you're looking at taking 2K risk. So that's just under. Now let's see. Yeah, 4 contracts would be 1240. Yeah, so you could actually trade between 5, not quite 6 contracts, and still stay under your 2% risk. And then it's a matter of looking at, okay, as you grow, where do you add additional contracts? Do you start at target 2 or target 3? So that's where again I look at, okay, even if you lose if you have 3 losses in a row, it's a 6% drawdown. Big deal. Whereas that 400 points, 440 points that we would have gained today, and that's just on 4 contracts, is what would have that been on 4 contracts? We said it was 62 point. So we lost a total of, on the 2 losses we lost 124 points, but our net even after those 124 point losses was around 440 points. So 4 times that 6%, or almost 4 times, 480 would be the 6%. And three losses is typically going to be 6% or less. The only times it's going to get more than that is when you have if you have 3 trades that set up on wicks, and you end up with larger trades. But if you've got good results already on the NQ, think about where you're really trading it. Are you giving it what you should be given your account size? What's your position sizing with RTY? Compare, if that's what I would do, is compare your position sizing between the two, and if you're weighting one more than the other, then you've got something to really think about. If you're weighting them roughly the same, then okay, maybe that's a comfortable place for you to be. 10 contracts on RTY. Let's see. RTY is 50 five, yeah, $5 a tick. Yeah, $50 a point, but it's $5 a tick versus the M. And see, the MNQ is at $5 a tick, or not the MNQ, but the NQ is $5 a tick as well. So, 15 and a half points is 60, 62 ticks. 62 ticks times $5 is your $320, $310 per contract risk. So, well, the question is, what's the average risk on your RTY trades? If you've never hit that 10% stop, I would offer that maybe you're being a little too conservative, because no, I mean, what's the normal risk? What's the normal risk? Your entry to stop, to your initial stop on the Russell. Do you take, okay, at 44 ticks? So yeah, you're looking at 220. So you're actually taking an even smaller. Well, no, that's not true. You $220 a contract. So yeah, you see, you're taking $2,200 risk on the Russell versus 620 risk is got you worried in the NQ. So yeah, with where you are with the Russell, you definitely ought to be at somewhere around 6 contracts on the NQ, even on the 12-point brick. I understand, but and that's where you've tested it forward by trading it for a bunch of years. But if you're going to, measuring the results in your account is a difficult thing to do, especially when you're weighting one market over another. If you're not giving both markets a 2% risk, then you're looking at something a whole different. But that's just a comparison, and it's as you say, it's food for thought. It's something to just look at. Yeah, October was definitely kind of back and forth trading. I think the market was just kind of anticipating the elections, I think, more than anything. But what you've done with a number of years of trading the RTY is you've gotten comfortable with that 2% risk there. What you need to do is do enough testing with the NQ or MNQ or whatever to get comfortable with the 2% risk there. But given how the NQ can move at times, it can be an amazing market to trade in, but it can also hurt you really badly, really fast, which is one of the reasons that I kind of like the scalping type trading there. Exactly, and that's exactly what it is. But you can do that with the UTA spreadsheet and back testing just as well as you can do that trading it live. Yes, it's definitely good diversification, but it's not really diversification if you aren't giving it roughly equal. You got to look at the weighting. You're not truly diversifying if you're only giving it, a quarter to a third of the weighting that you're giving the RT1. You're thinking it's diversification, but you're fooling yourself. Well, to get a good solid feel, I'd want to see, as Troy said, you're not going to see the charting and what have you start to give you good answers out of the UTA until you've got at least 120 trades in it. As he's mentioned in the past, he knows some traders that put at least 600 trades in testing before they commit to a trade plan. So that's what it takes for you. 120 trades is pretty much a minimum for it to really start to settle down the results, and so the results become fairly consistent, and you haven't got any particular monster trade or monster day or big drawdown affecting the charting and the. So yeah, it's somewhere between 120 and 600, and you're going to get it. Getting 600 trades on futures back testing is going to be difficult. Yes, as far as I'm aware, it works at least on. Let's see. I've had it working on. I've looked at it on 2019, I believe. They have gone back and done some work with it. The last version that once he took some of the security stuff or the password entry out of. He had somebody do that for him. It did, because I was using it initially on, I want to say 2016. I played with it and it worked fine on 2016. And I think I've worked with it since I've upgraded recently to 2019, and it's working fine on that. It didn't change any of the base coding. It was just it wasn't upgrades on the base coding. It was just to get the password protection out of it, so that you could use it without a password or without it wasn't password. It was without having a token. Because he basically, they don't sell it anymore. He includes it as part of his strategies. Now, okay, the question on being usable. Remember that if you're using macros in Excel, you pretty much have to be on the 32-bit version. The macros in the 64-bit version are different. So that's why any of the UTA spreadsheets have to be run on a 32-bit version of Excel. So be sure, and that's very true of any of the macro-driven extensions for Excel, for Word, any of the Excel, Word, Access. They typically all have to be run on 32-bit the 32-bit version. And I know that's true definitely for the UTA spreadsheet. It has to be run on 32-bit Excel. And personally, unless you need the capabilities of 64-bit, 32-bit is going to do everything that most people need, unless you're doing just an absolutely extremely dense statistical analysis and that kind of thing. But yeah, that will definitely cause trouble on any of the versions, even back in the 2003, 2007. It had to be 32-bit. And that's the thing that gets missed a lot of times, is if you don't check and make sure it's 32-bit versus 64-bit. Because a lot of people will load the latest and greatest, which is a 64-bit, and the 64-bit Office just will not play well with most macro systems, because they're based on 32-bit, the 32-bit macros. And the macro system between 32 and 64-bit is totally different. Oh yeah, you can. In fact, most of the time when you purchase, you can get either one, and you can load either one. It will come. Both of them will be on the disk or the image. No, you don't have to buy earlier versions. You can specify 32-bit in the 2019, even in 2019. Yeah, that's fine. I've been a tinkerer with computer tinkerer for too many years. I started building, IBM XT class hardware 30 some odd, about 35 years ago. So 35, 40 years ago. So yeah, I've come along through, the basic and DOS command lines, and I enjoy the tinkering side of it, and you just can't do that with Macs. It's locked down too much for my preferences. So I've always been an IBM, and I won't say Windows, because I started well before Windows was even a thing. Yeah, saw Windows 3.1 that was, of course, loaded on top of DOS. So that was when I first started working with Windows. Yeah, I started building PCs in my, what was it? I guess it was about mid-20s, and I will be 65 in another 6 months. So I'm unusual among the mid-60s crowd for the most part. Well, and yeah, hey, if I'm doing as well as my dad was at 90, I will be very, very happy. Yeah, he'd had cataract surgery in his early mid 70s, I think it was. And once he did that, yeah, once he had the cataract surgery, it was like, okay, I'm ready to keep. He was back to enjoying his shooting and so forth with iron sights, with metallic sights. He was not an optics shooter at all, both pistol and rifle. And he was still shooting competition, both pistol and rifle, up until just a few months before he passed away at 90. Yeah, good discussion this morning. That was definitely good for me to review as well. Dad was a bullseye shooter, and so am I. And a high power rifle. I went distinguished. It'll be 20 years ago next year. Shooting a lot of high power prone long range, 600,000 yards nowadays. I do that to keep my brain healthy because I'm doing that in my head, not trying to do it on a calculator. Trying to think. I don't know of any of the European any of your European ranges might be, and the only one I'm familiar with is Bisley, England. Yeah, trying to do that and trying to talk at the same time can get challenging. But it sure helps to be able to do those kinds of things in my head when I get behind the rifle. Oh yeah, my long range setup looks just like pretty much like a hunting rifle, except the sights are a little bit unusual. I'm running a tube gun type setup, but I'm running metallic sights. So I've got an aperture rear, aperture front, and I'm shooting slinging irons, as it were. None of the bipods and rests and so forth for me. I just old school. Yeah. Nope. Not the rig with a bipod. Nope. No sandbags. Just a sling. And most of the time I can come pretty close to holding a 2 minute group at 600 to 1,000 yards. So I can keep most of my shots in basically a dinner plate at 600 yards, and that's accounting for wind along the way. I haven't cleaned either 600 or 1,000-yard target for a 20-yard string, but I've cleaned 600 for 10-yard strings. And best at 600 for 20 is 198. I dropped two shots out of the 12-inch outside of 12 inches. Now, granted, the guys on the shooting the bipods and so forth are shooting inside that, but and we're all shooting with, even the guys shooting sling, or the jackets and slings and so forth are not what you're going to see out in the field anyway. So still not the same as the snipers and what they have to do, plus the field craft that they have to do to maintain their. I do not hunt at this point. Man, my wife and I have a deal, and I can hunt all the paper that I want. I did hunt with my dad a little bit. He was definitely a hunter, and at the club that he deer hunted at, he had the reputation that if he shot, you might as well go over and help him because he'd gotten one. And we did a fair amount of bird hunting. I got to be a reasonably good wing shot. Okay. All right. Looks like the room is kind of dwindling down now. So I am going to call it a morning, I believe. Unless somebody love to carry on the discussion, but I don't want to close anybody that's got questions about what we're here for. No, glad to do it. It's good for me to go through that a little every once in a while because it refreshes it in my mind. All right, folks. We had a good conversation this morning. Everybody have a good weekend. Watch the schedules because I don't know. Troy should be back in the next couple of weeks, so I'm not sure when the schedule will change back to where we were before or not, but keep an eye on the YouTube page and see what shows up on the schedule Sunday. And we will see everybody next week. But unless something changes, I will be back for the regular schedule next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Everybody have a good one.